Shalom, this is your brother Yawanathan. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. Now, today I was talking to my son, and I always tell him we're a part of a very special family. And there's a standard that we have to live by. We can't do what everybody else does. We can't operate how all the nations and 2/3 of our people operate in the world. The earth is going to be given into our hands. It's going to be given unto us. Let me go get that, all right? This is Psalms 2 and 8. It says, Psalms 2 and 8. Let's just get straight to it. Psalms 2 and 8, it says, ask of me, and I shall give the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Now, when did this happen? People say, well, when David was in rulership, he put the heathens in subjection. But King David is going to be in rulership again when the kingdom of heaven is set up on earth. And it says the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. When were the uttermost parts of the earth given unto the nation of Israel? This is a future prophecy that's going to take place. And you continue on in verse 9. It says what? Thou shalt break them with their rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them to pieces like the potter's vessel. Now, a lot of they hear things like this. They hear these precepts that they never heard before in the church. And they get rattled. They're like, why would we do that? God is supposed to be all up. Remember, man, these nations, they put us in subjection. They didn't give us a seat at the table. So they get no seat at the table. You get me? There's a 1,000-year period where they're going to be in captivity and subjects unto us. And they're going to know their place. Okay? Now, I'll say this. After that 1,000-year period, they're still going to be subjects unto us. But they're going to go back to their own lands. And they're going to live in righteousness. They're going to follow the rules, the ground rules that the Lord has laid down for us to follow. But for us, we're going to be perfect because the laws are going to be written within our inward parts. So we're always going to be, walking uprightly. They're still going to be in the flesh in these regular bodies and these chains of darkness going off. So they're going to need us to guide them, which is why they will continue to be, like it says in verse 8, in our possession or an inheritance unto us, because we're going to be those tutelary spirits that guide them through life. But again, you must understand they don't get a seat at the table. We go to Psalms. Let's go to it. Psalms 83. Actually, I'm going to go to Psalms 81 first. Okay? We were devoured by the nations, man. And we've been learning our lesson for us perpetually going against what the Lord, required for us to do. But let me start here at verse 10. This is Psalms 81 and 10. It says, I am the Lord God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Right? He did all those wonderful works in the sight of our people, but they still rebelled. They still were murmuring. They still were complaining. They still were trying to worship other gods, right? Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it with pleasant things, right? But my people, he will bless us, verse 10, that, open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me. They didn't want the Lord around. So I gave them up to their own hearts' lusts, and they walked in their own counsels to follow their own ideas, to follow their own way. And look where that got us. Look where that got us, man. Complete and utterly destroyed. Our people have been brought to such a low state, man. It's crazy. It's disheartening. It makes you want to shed tears, honestly. All right, verse 12. So I gave them up unto their own heart's lust, and they walked in their own counsels. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways. I should have subdued their enemies and turned my hand against their adversaries. He would have put our enemies up under our foot, given them to us as an inheritance, right? So like, Like it says in Psalms 2, like we just read. I should have soon subdued their enemies and turned my hand against their adversaries. The haters of the Lord should have submitted themselves unto him, but their time should have endured forever. All right? He should have, Salakia. Let me, I want to read that one time, that verse 14 and 13 on down. I want to read it in NLT for you guys. Actually, I'll start at 12. I'm going to read that whole thing in the NLT so you can hear it. It says, Psalms 81:12 in the NLT. It says, so I let them follow their own stubborn desires, living according to their own ideas. Oh, that my people would listen to me. Oh, that Israel would follow me, walking in my paths. How quickly I would then subdue their enemies. How soon my hands would be upon their foes. Because we do have enemies, and we're about to read it in 83. Those who hate the Lord would cringe before him. They would be doomed forever. But I would feed you with the finest wheat. I would satisfy you with wild honey from the rock. So there's only one way for our people to be restored, okay, and in good case. And only a remnant of our people know that way, or are able to see it, have been given the eyesight to understand, oh, this is the path back, so that we could be in good case, so that we're not at the bottom of society, so that we're not subject to payments unto a nation who has a perpetual hatred for you, like it says in Ezekiel 35:5. We have enemies, man. And they do not get a seat at the table. And that's what all the apologists, that's what all the Christians, that's what they're fighting for. They want the other nations to have a seat at the table, but it's not there. All right, let's go over to Psalms 83. Okay. It says, keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee, there's people that hate us, have lifted up the head. Let's read that in NLT, verse 2. Don't you hear the uproar of your enemies? Don't you see that your arrogant enemies are rising up? They devise crafty schemes against your people. They conspire against your precious ones. And we know who the Lord's jewelry is, man. It's the nation of Israel. They have conspired against us. They're always coming up with plans to cut us off from being a nation, to cut us off from being a people. All right, back to the KJV, verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. And that's another reason why they changed all the names around and start calling people colors instead of their actual biblical nationalities. That the name of Israel, in verse 4 in the KJV, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance, for they have consulted together with one consent, and are confederate against thee. All right. So this is something that's real, man. We're a part of a very special family, which is something that we should take pride in. But we also have to understand that there's a standard that comes with that. There's a conduct that comes with it. And the remnant that are keeping that conduct are going to obtain, the reward. Like it says in Romans 11:7. But the election had obtained it. Let me go here really quick. Bear with me, guys. Let me get this precept I'm looking for so we can continue on. Be really quick. I'm sure it's right here. It's Isaiah 17:2, I believe. Right. Nah, that's not what I wanted. Salakia. Yeah, let's go to Acts. Let's go to Acts 4, and we'll start at. We'll start at 24. All right, Acts 4 and 24. And when they heard that, they lifted up their voice to God with one accord and said, Lord, thou art God, which has made heaven and earth and the sea and all that is in them, who by the mouth of thy servant David has said, why did the heathen rage and the people imagine vain things? The kings of the earth stood up, and the rulers were gathered together against the Lord and against the anointed. For of a truth against the Holy One, Salakia, page turn. For of a truth against the Holy One, Salakia, for of a truth against the Holy Child, Yahushua, whom thou hast anointed, both Herod and Pontius Pilate, with the Gentiles and the people of Israel, were gathered together for to do whatsoever thy hand and thy counsel determined before it to be done. Okay? So I also wanted to bring this out because all those people that were mentioned in verse 27, their goings were of the Lord. The Lord had them play a particular part so that things could play out a particular way for us. So it's not written for our nations, these other nations, the actual heathen, to have a seat at the table. And and that's how the Lord wants it. We're not going to supersede or override what the Lord has set in place. And that too is something that you must understand. There are people that are set against us, that the Lord created them to be set against us. And they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And their destiny has already been written. They're going to be subjects unto us. And there's no overriding that. And that's what, the Christians don't understand. The apologists don't understand. And some of them do understand it. They just don't like it. When they got to take that up with the Most High. All right, so just a quick lesson, man, for you all. Lord willing, I hope you were edified, okay? Because we're part of a special family that's set above all nations, all people of the earth, like it says in Deuteronomy, I believe 7 and 6. Yeah, Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all the people that are upon the face of the earth. We're a special family, and we're above all the people. But there's a standard, there's a way that we act that comes with that. So those that are following after that standard, they're going to be the same spirits that are sighing and crying for the abominations being done in the midst thereof. I told my son also the other day, I said, you don't allow people to control how you feel, man, and to control your emotional state. When you allow that to happen, people become your master. They begin to rule over you. Now, we get upset at wickedness because we're echoing the sentiment of our husband. All right? Yahushua. Okay, yeah, go ahead. We're echoing the sentiment of our husband. All right? He's against wickedness. So it grieves us when we're around it, when we're amongst it, just like Lot in Sodom and Gomorrah. So, that's who, our master is. How about Shemi Yahushua? That's the spirit that should be on us, man. That's the thing that should be grieving us, if anything. The wickedness that's going on the earth. We want this place to be cleaned up because it's our inheritance at the end of the day. All right, so with that being said, I want to give all praises once more to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth and sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. Shalom.